Hello, fans, and welcome to this week's edition of the Tiger Women's Basketball Report. I'm your host, Ben Rosenbaum, and as always, I'm joined by the head coach of the Tigers, Laura Harper. And Coach, a successful week last week. You go 2-0 in a home and away weekend. First, let's talk about North Carolina A&T, 68-57. That was a big game. A&T has really burst onto the scene coming into the CAA. Talented forwards inside, and you guys handled a slow start to the game. They jump out to an early 6-0, 8-0 run, and call timeout, and then you guys take the lead from them. You never look back. Just talk about that start and then the team's ability to fight back and never give it back.
For sure. Credit to Rail and A&T and everything that they've done with their program in their first year here in the CAA. And we knew that it was going to be a physical game. We knew we were going to be challenged. So when they came out and punched us and we couldn't put the ball in the basket, it's just, okay, let's calm down. I tell them all the time the game's not won or lost in the first. So let's settle in. We'll be okay. And I think the team really responded after that timeout was called.
All year long, a theme has been preseason, in-season, rebounding, defending inside. And that was probably, of all the games that I can remember seeing so far this year, that was a war inside, underneath the basket. 30-24 in points in the paint, 39-36 in favor of Towson in rebounds. Quinn and Taye and Kylie and Peanut really did a great job handling Harris and Clark. Because Jasmine Harris might be one of the best players, if it's not for someone like Ashana Washington, could be player of the year in my opinion. And you really limited her and did a nice job. Just talk about what it took to win that game inside, because that's where that game was won and lost.
Absolutely. I think it was a collective effort. I think us buying into, if they're going to beat us, they're going to beat us from outside. We respect those forwards, arguably the best tandem in the conference, if not the best, So we put emphasis and a premium there. The teams at the top of this league really have solid inside presence, and we made a big, big, big emphasis on defending inside going into that game.
And offensively, Quinn Fulmore comes right at him, a career high for her in points, 16, and she has continued to just have a solid stretch the last month or so where she has just been, she's, I'm biased first team all conference to me the way she has played the last month. And she's answered every challenge. And what does that say about her from the mental standpoint, that she's answering the bell every time called upon?
Again, the growth of Quinn is, it's insurmountable. You can't really put a value on the growth in her as a player this year. And, Coach Kelly's done an amazing job helping her develop. I've also been able to help, so she's been tag team from the forward spot, and I think she's really grown in that regard.
16 points for you off of turnovers, and that's a little above the average for Towson. You average about 15.5 a game. Talk about the defense turning into offense ability that your team has been able to display consistently all year long.
For sure. I tell them all the time, the game is won by defending and rebounding, and I think we've put a precedence there. They know that we're going to defend. We're going to be active. Our guards might be smaller than some of the other guards, but they're feisty and they're ready to fight. And I think we proved that for sure versus A&T.
And then as big as the inside game was, Peanut hits arguably the biggest shot of the game with under a minute to go, hits a corner three to put you up 7, puts it away for good. First of all, how big in the ice in her veins to hit that shot? She had struggled a little bit. But then for Peanut also to know she has the confidence from you and from her teammates to shoot and to continue to shoot, even going through a cold stretch in a game or in a couple of games.
Yeah, arguably one of the biggest shots I've seen her make this season, from a magnitude of what we needed at that time. And we know that Peanut's very capable. We believe in her. We trust her. And I think that when she gets her feet set and she doesn't fade away, she's one of the best shooters in the conference. So I'm happy for her. Hopefully she takes that confidence moving in, to the next upcoming games.
So you beat North Carolina A&T, you hit the road to go down to Charleston, a revenge game on the mind of the Tigers there, and you come out victorious 61-52, a double-double for Quinn. She continues her good streak, 22 points off the bench. India Johnston has probably her best game in a few games with 8 points. Talk about India a little bit. She went dormant for a little while. She'd hit a shot here and there, we'd see, but not too much from her, but now she's starting to get the confidence again, it looks like.
Exactly. Freshman year is all about ebbs and flows, and she has a lot of upperclassmen surrounding her that have just a little bit more experience, and this is just about her getting her confidence from playing. And we're just happy that she was able to bounce back from not playing as much versus A&T, not producing as much, and India is the future of our program. So we just want her to continue to trust what we're doing and trust how we believe in her.
A name I didn't say while we were talking about North Carolina A&T, Kylie Cornegay-Lucas. tough 2 games for her scoring-wise, and she fouls out of both. But the team finds a way around it and to win. But for Kylie, she's going through a little bit of a rough patch for her, which, she's still scoring. And so for anybody else, it'd be a great game. But for Kylie, it's a little bit of a rough patch. And with the fouls, I know that eats at you. What's the message to Kylie? What do you kind of do to help her get out of that? I know the fouling has to stop for sure, but in terms of the shooting, and is it just she's not on the court, so she's not able to score and shoot, and she gets out of her rhythm?
Kylie still is the center of everything that we do, and just reminding her that she's gotten us to this point. We believe in her. We trust her. Our team has evolved in a way that we can play with and without her, and that just makes us a better and deeper team. However, we need her on the floor. We are better when she's on the floor. So just reassuring her there and continue to watch film and get better.
In that Charleston game, a season-high 23 offensive rebounds, tied a season-high for total rebounds as a team with 49 and second-chance points with 21. So your identity of rebounding and second-chance points, is this now all coming to fruition for you? Are they adopting the identity that you envisioned?
God willing, yes. We have to rebound if we want to win. It's quite simple. So hopefully we continue to bring that in, because at the end of the year, all the shots don't fall the way they necessarily do in the beginning. So hopefully we continue to box out.
And then Patricia and Numba, as steady as they come the last few games, 4 straight games in double digits for her, and she's timely too. She's clutch. She makes big plays. Even without scoring the basket, she makes big plays. She is, you just shot streak speak with Bryson. You mentioned, she got thrown in the middle of the season. How tough was that for her to get thrown in like that? And then now at this point, we're seeing the player she's able to be.
Really keeping Pat steady on telling her the goal is to be ready for March. And today being March 1st, I think it's perfect timing. I've continued to tell her just to trust the process, that we know who she is. She was my first guard coming in. I trust her, even, despite some of her performances. I don't know what she was doing. But she just had to play her way through. And I think she's finally confident and knows how important she is for our team.
All right, so last week's in the books, and now this is a huge week for you and the Tigers. 2 more games left, Stony Brook on Thursday, and then finishing up against Elon on Saturday. I was sitting with Matt Luchetsky beforehand. I was like, explain the standing situation to me right now, because it is a traffic jam. Mm-hmm. Tied with Stony Brook, Northeastern, and A&T. Matt was explaining if everybody wins out, there's a chance there's a 3-way tie for co-champions, but there's also a chance that you drop out of the top 4 depending on how things play out. And you'd love to stay in the top 4 because that's the buys, where you only have to play 3. Is there an emphasis on these? Is there more of a sense of urgency right now for you and your team with the way the standings are shaping out with 2 games to go?
Of course. I think everyone's extremely cognizant of where the CAA lies and where it stands. But ultimately, we have to focus on who we are and what we're doing. But we can't just walk in thinking that these games don't matter, because they do matter. But we also have to take the pressure off of us and just realize we have to come in and play our game. And
you'll open up with Stony Brook, a team you lost to 83-66 up in Long Island. They had 3 Seawolves and 20 points in that game. What's the key to limiting that offensive attack this time and being able to shoot a little bit better on your end? For sure. We've challenged our forwards defensively. That was an area of improvement for sure going into this next game, and we have to defend. We have to guard the paint. We have to limit penetration, and we have to rebound. So we'll be ready. And then on Elon, quickly, won't talk about the Phoenix as much. It's senior day, and for you in your first year as a head coach at Towson, how important was this senior class to you and what they've done both on the court and for you to help establish the identity here at Towson? Of course, credit to these seniors for buying into me, to this program, to a lot of them. I'm their 3rd coach in college. And I think that's challenging for any individual to have to keep changing leadership. So just so grateful for them to trust the process, to stay there, to remain strong and firm in what we're doing. All right, big week in the CAA, and you can catch 2 of the biggest games here right inside CQ Arena this week. Thursday at 7 o'clock against Stony Brook, and then on Saturday at 1 against the Phoenix of Elon. Thanks for joining us today on the Tiger Women's Basketball Report. For the head coach, Laura Harper, I'm Ben Rosenbaum. We'll see you in CQ, and as always, go Tigers. Go Tigers.